All right, let's move on to the NBA. Big game tonight between the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. Golden State will be without Kevin Durant in this one as he continues to nurse a sprained ankle. This is one of those games where you want to come out and make a statement. Steph Curry going so far as to call it a statement game. Nick, you buying tonight as a statement game for the Warriors?
Not for the 2018-19 Warriors, not with no Kevin Durant out there. Now, maybe if you want to see what the Warriors might look like next year against the Houston Rockets, tonight could be an interesting example because I think this team, except for Boogie Cousins being out there tonight, is going to look a lot like next year's Warriors team. But this isn't going to be a fair fight. Just like if we found out tonight Harden wasn't playing, we wouldn't say, oh, the Rockets, what are you going to do? The Rockets are right now the hottest team in the league. The Warriors are without. They're their best or second best player, depending on your taste. And they're playing a team that has really, the only team in the league that's has a winning record against them over the last 2 years. So I understand why the Warriors, they should not rush Kevin Durant back. They don't have to win this basketball game. They beat Houston in this building to go to the NBA Finals last year. So they have nothing to prove to Houston. And you could argue for Houston, like, you don't want to give Houston another opportunity to beat you full strength. Let Kevin Durant nurse that ankle. Don't try to, the only thing that would make the Warriors an underdog, they could lose, but the only thing that would make them an underdog in a playoff series this year is Steph, KD, or Clay going down with an injury to where they have to miss time in a playoff series. So Kevin Durant's not out there, so I don't think this can be a statement game because it's not a fair fight.
See, we're starting to hear maybe a few little cracks in the armor. You made reference to something Steph said the other day. It's this, what's happening to our team? We've got to come together. We really have to play. I mean, they're starting to take the end of this season a little more seriously than they did last year, that we got to get this all working if we're going to be the same team we were last year. And isn't Houston a big enough game for them to do that, coming off that Suns loss they had?
It is a big game for them, and you can start to see the messaging in the last 15 games. It changes. Steve Kerr, he said something. Kevin Durant, and the night he got hurt, he said something even if he was leaving the court. They realize what's going on. They're the world champs. But there's a reason why teams have struggled trying to three-peat. Broussard talks about it all the time. Mentally, how can you stay focused in the whole year? But they're still the most talented basketball team. Back to the statement game, though, I do believe this is a statement game. And for the reason of you have a team that's the last 2 years. We don't have Kevin Durant. Well, what if Golden State wins this game? You would have a hell of a lot of confidence and be like, man, you know something? We beat them. We were focused. We beat them without Kevin Durant. So when you're playing in games like this, you have professional pride. There are things that they can gain from it. Their rotations, how they're going to play defense, how they're going to defend Harden. It will give them a snapshot of what they're going to do moving forward. And I can tell you, if they leave the court with a victory, it will be a tremendous confidence boost for them. They've been like, man, we're so much better than them, even though they have an 8-5 record against them the last 2 years. So I'm not like Nick. Every time I go onto the court, onto the field, I believe there's an opportunity to be able to make a statement. And when you're undermanned, there's an opportunity to make even a bigger statement. We are the world champs. Kevin Durant is not here. We were actually world champs before we got him. So I do believe there's a chance to send a message there.
Vincent Goodwill was on this show yesterday and said, talking to guys on the Warriors, the Rockets aren't the team. They don't fear anybody is what he said, but that the Rockets aren't the team they're even the most concerned with, that it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, I think that's foolish on their behalf, and I believe that Vincent has his information correct. If the Warriors go to Houston and beat them without Kevin Durant, it will speak to in that regard. I was looking at it from the perspective of the Warriors are in a bad way right now. A loss tonight, to me, you can almost throw it away because KD's not out there. Now, a win might mean something for him in that regard, even more so because Kevin Durant's not out there. But the Rockets should win tonight. The Rockets have been able to beat this team.
That's what everyone's saying.
Strength.
That's why it could be such a boost for someone like Clay, someone like Steph. Man, we were balling before KD got here because there's a certain amount of credit that's been taken away from Steph. Last 2 finals, who was the MVP?
Kevin Durant.
Oh, the guy that was hurt. Steph could come out there and have a message game against Chris Paul. I believe it's going to be a shootout because anytime you face this type of competition, you want to bring out the best. Boogie Cousins, it's important to watch him. Draymond in this game. So tremendous opportunity for Golden State.